It's not very often that we get to review vans here at Carbuyer, but this is no ordinary van. It's got windows, loads and loads of windows. It's got seats, loads and loads of seats. In fact, you don't really have to look inside to guess that the Citroen SpaceTourer is one of the most practical vehicles that you can buy. Something else that makes this quite unusual as well, it's electric. I know that you can still buy Citroen's diesel version, so actually we're not going to focus on the fully electric side of things too much in this review. Instead, we will simply consider if this is the family bus that every parent has been waiting for. So without further ado, okay, a bit of ado first. So subscribe to the Carbuyer YouTube channel, click on the bell icon so you get notifications every time a new video goes live, and like this video. So without further ado, let's get SpaceTourer in.
The Citroen SpaceTourer, including the e-SpaceTourer, shares much of its DNA with the Vauxhall Vivaro Life and the Peugeot Traveller. They have similar styling, the same interior packaging, identical engines, and generally feel very similar to drive. The SpaceTourer comes in M and XL lengths, each of which get a minimum of 8 seats. We've got the shorter model here, but as you can tell, it's still absolutely huge inside.
So where better to start than right here at the back, because this is where all the cool kids sit, right? Now I did mention that you can seat at least 8 people in here, 2 at the front, 3 in the middle, and 3 right here at the back. You can opt for a 9th seat if you want to, it won't cost you anymore, but what it does is it puts a 9th seat in the middle of the front too. It makes the front of the cabin feel a bit claustrophobic and very, I'm in a converted van feel, but needs must if you need 9 seats. Then you need 9 seats. Now there aren't as many handy features as you might expect from a family-friendly MPV. You've got a couple of cup holders back here either side. If you're sat in the middle, you've got control of the aircon on the ceiling, and then the front seats have tray tables on the back of them. The windows don't open like they would a normal car, but that is a sacrifice that you have to make when you want some fabulous sliding doors. One bonus is that whichever seat you're sat in, you've got loads of space. Whew. Another added bonus is that every seat has an ISOFIX point, so you can put your young child in any seat that you would like, and you know they're going to be safe and secure. If you want, fill up the whole thing with kids. Don't do that, because that will just be loud chaos, won't it? Yeah. Right here up the front, this is where the SpaceTourer doesn't hide the fact that it is a converted van. I mean, rivals like the Mercedes V-Class or the VW Caravelle, they all have little plush bits or little leather moments, but this feels a lot more rough and ready. I mean, everything works very well, but it's more functional, I'd say, than luxurious. This screen is quite small by today's standards, and while there's nothing wrong with analog dials, it just doesn't feel as smart as some rivals in here. Oh, you do sit very nice and high though, and the bonnet is actually not that long, so it's not as difficult as you might think to park. But you might assume that reversing cameras would be standard in an MPV like this, but you would be wrong. It's an £840 option on every vehicle apart from the top of the range ones. That and sat-nav.
For a full rundown of the specs, simply visit carbuyer.co.uk and search for the Citroen SpaceTourer. The brand recently simplified the range, meaning expensive launch editions have made way for cheaper, better value versions, especially when it comes to the electric SpaceTourer. Do be aware, however, that the basic models don't even come with the wheel trims that you see here.
You do at least get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so just plug your phone in. You've got your messages and your music and your maps on there. Huh? See, sorted. Oh, glove box down here, no sort of central cubby. That's because I did say earlier, this is where the 9th seat would go if you needed it, so it kind of limits what Citroen can put there. You've got a nice little hole there to put your phone, USB socket there, decent door bins. You've got some nice practical touches in this cabin.
Of course, the van-like proportions not only help when carrying people, but benefit those looking to haul big or heavy loads as well. OK, with all 8 seats in place, there's not as much space left, but start folding down, or taking out some of them, which is not an easy task, and you'll have more room than you know what to do with. Total load volume stands at 2,381 litres in the shorter model, rising to a massive 2,932 litres in the XL version. Just make sure you don't park too close to a wall, because the tailgate is huge.
In recent years, many of us have come to expect a certain degree of driving enjoyment, haven't we? Regardless of whichever car that you're in. So like small cars can be great fun, family hatchbacks can put a smile on your face when you're on the right road, and then you've got SUVs, a lot of them are very entertaining. And well, the Citroen SpaceTourer is... Okay, it's not going to come as a surprise when I tell you that this is very big. And it makes it feel very cumbersome right from the off. I mean, the steering feels really light and quite slow, so you feel very disconnected from the road, and it naturally makes you want to do like a very slow, steady drive instead, which I suppose isn't a terrible thing. Now the diesel engines are strong though, and they definitely really suit this car/van. That big old slug of torque just makes it feel ready if you've got the car loaded up with kids or people or luggage or what have you.
The two diesels are tried and tested elsewhere in the Citroen range. There are 3 to choose from, ranging from a basic 118 brake horsepower 2-litre blue HDI to a range-topping 178 brake horsepower engine matched to an automatic gearbox. The entry-level model is manual only, but is the most economical of the lot, returning up to 44.1 miles per gallon. Of course, there are huge advantages in terms of running costs if you opt for this pure electric model.
Now, it will certainly do the job if you're going to do a lot of your journeys in and around town. It doesn't have that same pick-up urgency that you do in small electric vehicles or in electric SUVs even, and it doesn't quite have the same range that they do either. I mean, the official figure for this is 143 miles on a single charge, but we've found it's really 115 to 120-ish. I mean, it's going to be less if it's cold, it's going to be less if you've got a big load on board. But hey, it is not all doom and gloom. Like I said, you sit up very high, so visibility is pretty good. I'm very thankful for these giant wing mirrors. They're very adjustable as well. So yeah, the car is big and it feels very big, but visibility is wonderful. And the SpaceTourer does cope very well with broken, potholey, lumpy, bumpy roads. That's because Citroen have said that the dispatch van, which is the base of the SpaceTourer, has been comprehensively revised to carry people rather than parcels. And from our experience, yeah, it certainly feels comfortable enough. I'd say the only thing is it feels a bit, ooh. I don't know if there's a word for that. Just a bit, ooh, you know?
Right, let's have it. Dealmakers and deal breakers for the Citroen SpaceTourer. Whether you're carrying people, luggage or both, the Citroen SpaceTourer is one of the biggest and most practical vehicles on sale. For something of this size, the Citroen is fairly economical, and there's an electric version should that suit you. Prices were high at launch, but Citroen has slimmed down the range, and entry-level models are now better value. There's no ignoring the fact that the SpaceTourer feels like a van to drive. It's a big, cumbersome box, and the light steering favours sedate driving. While the kit list isn't stingy, there are certain features that you would expect to be standard on a model like this. Basic cars don't get a reversing camera or even wheel trims like ours.
Sometimes, when more than 5 people have to travel together, a large MPV doesn't quite do the job, but the Citroen SpaceTourer is the answer to every large family's needs. It is cost effective to run, especially if you go for the electric version. There is so much space inside, you can have a good game of hide and seek in there if you wanted to. It would be good if there was a few more luxury features in the higher spec models, and it's not exactly what you would call fun to drive, but you've got a big family and you need to throw in all the people, throw in all the luggage and still have space left over. That's the car for you.
If you like this video, then make sure you check out our family cars or electric cars playlist. Thanks for watching.